The Chicago Bears may have just found their next elite pass rusher, and his name? Shamar Stewart. Bears fans, if you haven't been paying attention to the NFL Combine, now's the time to start. Texas A&M's Shamar Stewart just put on an absolute show. At 6'5", 267 pounds, Stewart ran a 4.59-second 40-yard dash. That's elite speed for a guy his size. Add in a 40-inch vertical and a ridiculous 10'11" broad jump, and you're looking at a rare athletic specimen. Let's put this into perspective. These numbers, they're eerily similar to another Texas A&M legend, Myles Garrett. And we all know how that turned out. Garrett is one of the most dominant edge rushers in the NFL today. If Stewart can even come close to that level, any team that drafts him is getting a game changer. But here's where things get interesting. Despite his freakish athleticism, Stewart's college production wasn't mind-blowing. In 3 seasons at Texas A&M, he only recorded 4.5 sacks. That's the stat that's making scouts scratch their heads. How does a guy with this level of physical talent not put up gaudy numbers? Is it a scheme issue, coaching, or is there something missing in his game? For the Chicago Bears, this presents a fascinating dilemma. Holding the 10th overall pick, they're in prime position to grab an elite edge rusher. The Bears desperately need another dominant force opposite Montez Sweat. Stewart has all the tools to be that guy, but is he worth the risk? Ryan Poles has been all about value in the draft. He's not afraid to take big swings, but he also wants proven production. That's why Bears fans are split on Stewart. Some see him as a potential steal, while others worry that his lack of sacks means he's not a true finisher. Here's the thing, though. Sacks don't tell the whole story. Stewart was still disruptive. He consistently generated pressure. Sometimes, a player's impact goes beyond the numbers. The right coaching, the right system, and suddenly those near sacks turn into game-changing plays. And let's be real, the Bears have the coaching staff to make it happen. Matt Eberflus has built a strong defensive culture. If there's any team that can take an athletic freak like Stewart and mold him into a star, it's Chicago. Now the big question, will he even be there at 10? With his insane combine performance, Stewart might have just tested himself out of the Bears' range. Teams picking ahead of Chicago like Atlanta, the Giants, or even Tennessee could fall in love with his upside. If that happens, Poles might have to make a decision. Does he trade up to secure a blue-chip talent, or does he stay put and hope another top pass rusher like James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee falls into their lap? One thing's for sure, the Bears can't afford to ignore their pass rush. In today's NFL, you win games by getting after the quarterback. Montez Sweat is a beast, but he needs help. Whether it's Stewart, Pierce, or another top prospect, Poles has to find that missing piece. Shemar Stewart's journey to this moment didn't just begin at the NFL Combine. His path to the draft started long before. Back in high school, when he was already turning heads as a 5-star recruit out of Florida. He had offers from nearly every major program in the country, but chose Texas A&M, believing their defensive system could develop him into an NFL-caliber player. At Texas A&M, Stewart's raw power and explosiveness were on full display. He dominated one-on-one matchups, bullied offensive linemen, and consistently found ways to be a disruptive force. Even though the sack numbers weren't eye-popping, his ability to collapse the pocket and apply pressure made him a problem for opposing quarterbacks. Sometimes stats don't tell the whole story. Pressures matter just as much as sacks, and Stewart had plenty of them. If you need proof that sack numbers don't define a player, look no further than Rashawn Gary of the Green Bay Packers. Coming out of Michigan, he had similar question marks. An elite athlete, but lacked big sack numbers. What happened? The right coaching, the right system, and now he's one of the most dangerous pass rushers in the league. Stewart could follow that same path with the right team. So, how would he fit in Chicago? Right now, Montez Sweat is locked in as the Bears' top pass rusher. Adding Stewart would give them a dynamic duo, much like what we've seen from teams that have invested heavily in their defensive line. Having a player like Sweat demanding attention from offensive lines would create one-on-one opportunities for Stewart. That's the kind of environment where elite talents thrive. He wouldn't have to be the guy right away. He could grow into the role and learn from an established veteran. But what if Stewart isn't there at 10? What are the Bears' options? James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee is another top name in the draft class. His combine performance was also impressive, and he has more sack production than Stewart. If Chicago wants someone who has proven he can finish plays, Pierce might be the safer pick. Another option, trading back to acquire more draft capital and targeting a second-tier pass rusher who still has a high ceiling. This is where Ryan Poles has a tough decision to make. Go all in on Stewart's raw talent and athleticism, play it safe with a more proven pass rusher, or stockpile picks and find value later in the draft. One thing is crystal clear: the Bears have to get better at rushing the quarterback. The NFC North is stacked with talented QBs. Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and even Kirk Cousins can carve up defenses if they aren't pressured. If Chicago wants to compete, they need to be able to disrupt the passing game. They can't afford to rely solely on Montez Sweat. So Bears fans, what's the move? Should Ryan Poles take a gamble on Shemar Stewart's elite traits, or should Chicago look for a safer option with more production? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Bears analysis.